again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance. Okay, but please...
The woman before you scans the store.
Oh, yes.
The woman before you.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome...
These shelves are overburdened with books from the same series. You see the name Dick Mullen. A couple of spook novels hide amidst all the detective books.
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his... You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really...
Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on. Furthermore, they have no idea how hard it is to simply remove. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get me Mullen. The stalwart adventures of Rich. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the murder house. The final case of Dick Owner. Turns out he faked it to solve a case. Yes, there's also the dame who did it. Farewell, my Mullen. Faking death seems tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And after all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen? Shelves fill to the brim. Your attempt to grasp at the answer fails. It seems very close by, pulsating just out. The plaque on the shelf reads, Biographies of Famous People.
I would say... The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, a very influential historical figure. But surely I don't have to tell you that. You're a law officer. The book is also very daring. The author aims to re-examine the universal understandings of the innocentic system, creating a fresh... Perhaps for a layman, deep analysis is necessary.
Do her words seem vague and abstract to you?
Certainly. It's prudent for a person to have at least an elementary understanding.
You feel like you should get this one. Definitely. It's important somehow. There's something personal inside. Browsing through all the books with all their names makes your head... Suddenly, a particularly odd title catches your eye. It reads, High Speed Love chronicles the romance between two of the finest. Next to Irv's life story, you see a slim biography of an Occidental rock star called The Anti. Next to that, Revacholian radio personality Guillaume Bevy stands in front of a rundown drug den.
I really must insist you buy one of the books. Reading them is not for free. Do still browse though, but not... I'm sorry, I did not mean to rush you. You are browsing. Go ahead. Take your time. Time is commerce. A true cultural touchstone. Enjoy the...
This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. Amidst the various books, you find one. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to. It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, when it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because it's your own fault if you're ill. Got it? The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. There's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying. This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Sir, please, no browsing in that shelf. I can't have you end up, like, opening a police store next door and stealing my customers. Oh no!
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pearl. The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted. The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venic or hand broom, made from the. Even better if you can find someone else, preferably a large man dressed in nothing but a towel, to thrash you while you're spread naked. It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation. It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pearl. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pearl and leave them. Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health. That seems improbable. For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pearl. Though, aside, these strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. This is exactly what you need. I don't know. I don't want to be the party pooper, but this pearl territory sounds sort of dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't walk in it naked. There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligation. You close the book and return it to its place on the shelf.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for.
Several maps have been attached to a bulletin board hidden in. The maps look old and shelves full of biographies of a small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda. Raubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense after a while. We have games for the whole family. You can play with your children.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? Are you actually friends? Or just colleagues thrown together by circumstance?
Don't be so hard on yourself, sir. You just need to clean up a bit. And technically, friends are a bit like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real. Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can...
An endless variety of source books, law books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a pick your part books in a board game section. Who wants to read books? There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastic adventure board game. New map. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense. Nonsense for anemic Beano-clads.
Hello again, sir.
Excuse me? I don't know. The most talkative one? The what now? You truly are one strange cop, aren't you?
The woman before you. This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible. The metal feels cold and wet under...
Probably some kids.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. That's Kuno on the lens. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. Lanky wet. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice. This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says why place a tourist attraction in the middle of summer?
There was a revitalization project in '49. A design studio tried restoring Martinez to its pre-war glory. It didn't stick. They got as far as the street lamps and that statue on the intersection before something went sour. I suspect it was Evrart's class doing. He muscled them out. It's how it usually goes around here. We should have done something about the Union 10 years ago. That ship has sailed.
Your money disappears into the coin slot. The curtains on the display open. You lean in to catch the view. It's blurry, different blues and greens. In the middle of the shimmer, the lenses shift. The ghost sharpens into an islet in the bay. In the ruins, a man-made structure is visible. A half-sunken sea fort. Its concrete almost... It looks as if it was abandoned quite some time ago. Nothing but a rotten tooth remains of the anti-aircraft tower. A lonely birch tree grows out of it.
Really? I don't have the eyesight to make it out.
is such a pleasure. Sure, officer.
Vigilance, officer? What can this all carry beneath?
There it is again. That spectral smell haunting this heavy fuel oil mostly, because it's an industrial harbor. Years of turmoil, of hopes and dreams, ground beneath the inexorable tides of capital. Can you smell it now? You inhale. The cilia along your olfactory epithelium tingle with excitement as they sift through. First come the smells of the agitated strikebreakers, layers of body oil and sweat, over-buttered meals pulled from bake-like lunch pails.
Still smelling for communists, detective? Well, I'll be over here when you're finished.
What the lieutenant thinks is irrelevant. Your politico-olfactory cortex is lighting up like a holiday display. Yes, now's your chance to
Hola, wandering man. How can I help you? What's that, boy, yeah?
Now's your chance. Remember, communists are notoriously skittish, so it's best to insinuate your way in.
Could be coming from one of the jam lorries. Cargo's been sitting out for a while.
Okay, maybe it's time to abandon the subtle approach.
Ah, now I see. Can't say I'm surprised. You seem to take your communism seriously. Not a bad thing, mind you. It's good for a man to take.
Oh, he certainly likes to take his time with things, especially...
So you've given up copying and now you're hunting Comunistas. Care to say why? Oh, I see. I wish I could help. Unfortunately, I don't know many Comunistas. Maybe, maybe not. Either way, I'm not institutional. A man's got to blaze his own trail, in my book.
Okay, so maybe he's not exactly a communist, but there's definitely some
Ah, but you know, I did meet a genuine ideologo a few months ago. Perhaps he's your guy. You know, a guy with a theory. Someone who likes to pit his theory against other theories in deadly Didn't say anything about his name. Wasn't this sort? It was late one night as I was leaving the arbor. He was waiting on the corner in a bright white jacket. Classic setup. He asked me for a light. We shared cigarettes. Then he asked me if I ever thought about getting into some of the extra physical branches of communism.
See, all this political chit-chat is just an excuse to rip tar with strangers. Let's say we just skip right.
No idea. I took it to mean he was asking me to join a very old school organizing technique. The sort of thing Comunistas used to do before the revolution. It was alright. A little like something out of a Vespertine spy novel, but I must respect the effort. I couldn't tell you. Once I declined his offer, we finished our cigarettes and he disappeared back into the night. Just before he melted into the shadows, he turned to me and said, "Remember Dobrava and Abadanais." And then he was gone. I don't know. Guess not everyone remembers. Been wondering about that myself. Some Comunista inside talk could be. Not meant for the wider public. They love that kind of thing.
Not to interfere in your personal errand, but it might have something to do with that passphrase Cindy mentioned earlier. She said that you would need some kind of passphrase to gain access to this so-called mega-city.
The lieutenant...
Just in time. The faithful partner arrives with the key that turns the lock. I salute you, boyas. and wish you good fortune on this grand ideological quest.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coat.
The unpromising. There is nothing funky about that. I cannot possibly. Before the cargo container. Its drawer has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. The Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course, I already knew this. My friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of... You're in my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike?
Judging from how happy he is, it looks like you did it. He doesn't appear to suspect trickery. Well done, sire. By guile and deceit, you're in.
Harry, by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
So the village is doomed.
You were there, you saw the place, a wasteland, there's nothing left. But mark my words, officers, we are going to reset it. Reset. I have big plans for Martinez, and they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal building. Harry, imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex, employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on. Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
The pain is true. He's seen kids do worse than that.
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in a zone hating me. That will be my statue. And damn right I am, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as she is one day. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
A true flash of anger in him, as he thinks of her.
I did not, Harry. Although I am very, very glad he's dead. Why, a war, of course.
And what do you have to...
Victory, Mr. Kitsuragi. I have victory to gain. We are going to start a war with the Wild Pines group and win before they even realize there is a war. Harry, we outnumber them 1,500 to 1. And that's just Martinez. With all the unions in Revachol, and with public opinion on our side, we can hold off 2 men. Or 15 men. Or even 50 men. The more they send, the worse it's going to look for them. They made a huge mistake hiring those guys. No one likes foreign mercenaries. The leftists hate them, the fascists hate them, even the moralists think they're in bad taste. Harry, there is no strike, only war. Class war. Or, in business terms, a dawn raid. Or wait. Is that when you still pay them? We're not gonna give nothing. We're gonna take Terminal B away from them. The roads, the gates, the containers, that big crane, even the damn coffee.
The word fuck rings like a gunshot from his mouth. He doesn't swear often.
So that's why you haven't let Joyce in?
Yes. It's also why I let that midget Gaumont go. He's too nice. I can't put him through this. Plus, tits from her arsehole. It's a local saying. Because we're friends, Harry. Besides, it doesn't matter now. You can go tell her if you want. It won't change the course of events. It's already happening. 2,372. Plus yours truly, of course.
2,373 is a sizable contingent for a labor organization in Revachol.
Oh, you mean what sort of goods are going to be flowing through? How am I going to replace all the contacts we'll lose once the poo-poo hits the fan? The clients will ditch us. We've been running back channel negotiations with all the major clients. I think the company will be unpleasantly surprised. With renewed zeal sparked by communal ownership, the men will be shipping those containers double time. You'll be surprised to see how fast things go without parasites.
That's drugs.
Drug trafficking.
Drug trafficking? Don't be stupid, Mr. Kitsuragi. They are perfectly legal. All they do is produce components to keep the pharmaceutical industry running. That's people's health we're talking about. Old grannies, little babes, people with disability. The company thinks transporting these chemicals in bulk looks bad, has bad optics, may be illegal in some countries. We're gonna transport the living daylights out of those materials, Harry. So your sick kid can get his benefit and your wacky uncle doesn't have to come off risperidone.
And the kids on the street can get speed and pyrrolidone.
I'm an old-fashioned guy, Mr. Kitsuragi. I sometimes grab a beer with the boys, but I have no idea about the things you just mentioned. But if I were to supply ingredients for some sort of rainbow party, I would make sure the union took a fantastic share. And I'd keep that stuff far away from Martinez. Yes, of course. And while you're doing that, please go ahead and also... Anyway, let's not focus on the sensationalism of the drug trade. This hypothetical drug trade is all anyone ever seems to be interested in. It would only be a small part of the harbor's turnover, just like the harbor is, but a small... Let's look at the big picture. Martinez as a whole. There are little girls out there with dreams of making music. I'm gonna unite them all into one economic body. We're gonna incorporate this place to Kingdom Come. Everyone's gonna be in on the wealth. And everyone's gonna pull their weight. Yes, if you start thinking about it like that, the socialist municipal body sort of is like a corporation, isn't it? It uses corporate law. We're incorporated. We're way past specific union members now. This is the big time. We're talking about the future. You can bother Leonard with that. He loves to run his mouth on such matters. But I'm in big time mode, Harry. Harry, I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on. An old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he'd...
Yes, the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff. The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debardeurs Union. Apparently, she was...
Waving the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
There it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
As I said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's...
Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm. No, wait.
I already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry.
She will be there from 2200 hours till 0200.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Great, Harry, great. I think we have truly built a bridge between Martin and... This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off, I'm always happy to educate. Very nice, Harry. Is there anything else?
Medicinal purposes of the pearl. The cover of this heavy tome features a number of esoteric symbols. Flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the pearl. You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials, readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors. Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pearl, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies. There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition. What you're describing is booze. You don't need any herbs for that. There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, first you need to choose a base ingredient. Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle. Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add? The ginger root will help with the nausea, and the birch bark tea will help you flush out the toxins. The ginseng should give you more energy as a nice bonus. The very thought of this tea causes your muscles to relax and your mind to clear. You're more present and in control than you were a moment ago. A tingle rushes down your spine and you feel your toes uncurl. If only it could always be like this. Very well. First, choose a base ingredient. Next, you'll need to combine. Lastly, the ginger root will help you imagine yourself. The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large, and browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events, historical. You can do it. It'll be worth. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No. Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocent? Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat, and it hurts. You see a flash silver, a wreath. Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust, and the ice, and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocence? It wasn't. Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn of the century revolutions. Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franco Negro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as the first innocence. He declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed his disciples were the beginning of the holy path. Question 2. Who was the... Easy. Everybody knows the answer to this. You, me, anybody. Correct. Named the innocence of militarism. He codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolari real as the global reserve currency. He also established the Franco-Negro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place. Question 3. Who was the false innocence? Incorrect. Kedra is a large nation in the mid-northern area of the Mawindi Isola, north of the Occident. Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought so. The most famous and important of these was Ernest Pasternak. He was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who was the greatest in... I don't even have to say it anymore. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco-Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence. Everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world to 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful, and more beautiful, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade, a C, vaguely passable. A solid effort with nothing much else to show. Nice going, mediocrity man. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit.
What's going on with you?
Okay. You are shouting at an inanimate object, like a real weirdo. No one... Cop of the apocalypse. It's not fire, it's not ash. There will most certainly be a sea of corpses leading up to the event. But it won't be war or pestilence that causes it. Oh no, the event will belong to a genre of cataclysm no man has dared to suspect would ever come to pass. You can only sense the shape of it, like a cavity, a pit opening up in your stomach, a throat into which the world will vanish. The streets, the grass, the stars, all will be rolled back. By whom, by what, and how, you don't know. All you know is, you're not joking around. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back. Yes, buy something nice, a figurine. This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles.
You're probably talking about the revolutionary. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. Maybe.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed.
This is what the loyalists looked like, yes, at first. Then they wised up and got camouflage.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but...
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks. The
Franco-Nigerian knights. I used to be very serious about these guys.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets. Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped. As you fold your fingers into a fist, you realize you could knock anyone out with one punch. Your movements cause tiny little clicks, like dice rolling somewhere far away, as the plates reorient to your motions. The hardened vitreous enamel, at once sleek and light, adds a glow to your cheeks and a spring to your step. Just imagine what a full suit of this stuff could do for you. It may be a while before you have all the pieces. In the meantime, remember, this is a highly specialized kinetic redistributor meant to stop bullets. Wear it, observe its properties, see if there's a weakness for the day you have to fight someone covered in the same material. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on... You see rows of toy soldiers guarding... Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man...
Indeed. I think I even have his cap somewhere down here.
He doesn't elaborate on what that means. It's unlike the lieutenant studies the figurine. Cool rider, right? I knew we'd find something worthwhile here. Buy it.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky? Or... Hello again. How can I help you?
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and the light pole has been carefully cut and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working. It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
700 real. A bargain, I dare.
A bargain? No, it's not. He's trying to sweet-talk you into buying trash.
The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price. Well, there are the cost of removal and rewiring. The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for...
Okay, that checks out. The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved and well traveled. Chip 1 especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. This is you. Gold enough. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
If police work means playing tapes, sure, you can use it for that. Is the Harman Welsh W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel format. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres, even though I don't really like music. And here you are, quality sound reproduction on the go. It'll play in it. Hello again. How can I help you? Of course. It's in working order still, isn't it? Just pick your tape and set it spinning. Sure, let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. This book will show you the score, get you oriented with those basic concepts. The alphabet. Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. A is for azimuth. B is for Boreas. C is for cosine. D is for diamite. H is for homeboy. I is for econ. J is for Eura. K is for collapse. L is for laudanum. M is for myriad. N is for nadir. O, Q is for quasar. R is for rhododendron. S is for sinus. T is for tricolor. U is for ultra. V is for vector. W is for Wahrheit. X is for xylophone. Y is for Ustava. Z is for zenith. That's it. You know the alphabet now.
Good. I also know the alphabet.
This trap's not too hard to spot once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has behind you. The ruins of a residential building loom over the reeds. They whisper. When this district was booming, the reeds were kept at bay. Nothing obscured the freshly painted facades. Nowhere for drunks and nothing but locusts in this trap as well.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done. I'm just glad we haven't found some poor cat trapped in one of these.
A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other.
Correct. The density of the bullet holes is unusual. Even in a general average bullet hole frequency in Martinez sand, meaning this is a lot of bullet holes. Looks like fully automatic rifle fire. Something you don't see these days. The manufacturing and sale of automatic rifles was curtailed after the revolution. The destructive power of such tools proved to be too much. We do need to retain some humanity in this world.
scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least, their heads lowered and eyes blindfolded. It's quiet, no sound, no movement. "10 meters away, other shades are lined up in an orderly manner, automatic rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. Snowflakes fall on the wooden planks and the surrounding sand dunes, covering the land with the white of innocence. A long time has passed since the moment of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed all the blood away. The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscience round, where only one soldier has the loaded rifle. Looks like this was a mass execution. A host of men, probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations. They stand, facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats, holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side. The commandant, the one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air. The lights of the muzzle flashes dancing on his face.
I don't know. I don't know who died here, lined up beside that horrible wall. It could have been any of the parties involved in the revolution. Perhaps the ones executed here were the loyalist conservatives, killed by the communists at the start of the Civil War. Or it could have been the communists, put to death during the last stretch of the conflict by the coalition forces.
Remember what Trent Heidelstein said about Veld?
Another likely scenario.
Or maybe...
Yeah, it's very unlikely the coalition forces were the ones who died here. They were always the last ones again. To be honest, if a coalition member was anyone in this situation, it was the commandant, the superior giving the orders.
A cold sea wind blows away the figures. That patch of reeds over there, it's a great place to hide something. Kind of out of the way, being so close to the water. You don't have a reason to. Yet. Nothing. Just a hunch. The hunch passes. This is the last of the trap. The reeds by the abandoned campsite hiss and shake. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can... The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. No locust. No phasmid either, but still. Your voice echoes on the coast, carried by a gust.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked the trap up and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
Right. Anyway, that's for the cryptozoologists to figure out now. We're not.
You see, a once bright, a slogan used to intertwine.
Looks like tomorrow.
Hello again. Sure, what's on your mind? But of course.
Hello again.
Come on, get in. Sorry, we barely have room for one.
You go ahead.
I'm actually not, he thinks. I just dislike.
I'm sure you will feel right at home. I'll keep watch.
The large-headed youth has closed his eyes.
Good morning, comrade. Yeah! Hi again. So, how are things going? And? What happened? But you did see the machines, right? And the spooky water. I tell you, they're in there. You just have to give it another go. As always, we'll be right... Hi again. So, how are things going? As always, we'll... Hi again. So, how are things going?
A number of things don't add up. How about gather around, kids? The young speed freak, the one with the large head, their would-be leader, is less amused.
But you still are! What happened? I've been trying to say we need the next step in dance music to happen. Shut it! What? I have! I've said that!
The young speed freak is silent.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
He said it was for his nose. What more do you want? What do you mean, friend? It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Other speaker. What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug. Make up your mind. First it's the sweat, then it's the ether. No shit. We don't need drugs. Shut the fuck up, Egg. Climb down from the equestrian monument, cop man.
What exactly is it you know? That's... Come on, that's... I meant to say, not true. What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing.
What do you mean by lenient? Okay, man, okay. Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we said we want to turn a church into the wickedest club in East West.
Because we do! We totally do!
We just need to turn it into a speed lab before.
To get our foot in the door.
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was... No, man, they're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also...
But the sign was way off, too. I couldn't feel the love at all.
Sir, you promised you'd be lenient. Come on, man.
The young man doesn't move. His earring.
No Yes, fucking way.
Without a word, the other speed freak pulls a red wallet out of the toolbox and hands it to you. The disdain is palpable. His eyes pierce you like lightning as he lets go of the wallet.
We don't have any more money. You robbed us blind. We can continue on an amiable path, right? No more misunderstandings, no more lies. Before other than all hushnoid. Yes. What?
He nods, enthused.
As always.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Yes. What?
He nods enthusiastically. No.
Yes? What's the deal? But do let us, as always...
Huh? I see you a sticker. You mean the yellow one?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Good, good. What did you want to know? Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right, and I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race. We're all the same. Same eyes, same smiles. He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, at the present moment and life, or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just...
Or drugged out of his mind, come to think of it.
Or drunk, or in a clinical coma. Simplicity was brought to us. Well, hardcore is not tasteful or out with the sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing. Not alone. Many people are thinking the same thing right now. We all see the same smiling dead guy in a couple of... Oh, I guess one could write an entire treatise on the... Nah. You heard me.
Yes?
Hello again. I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you. Mine are idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it. I even tried not to lie to you.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
I know, but I knew you'd see through their plan too. I'm not an idiot. I should have been able to control them. May I ask? What did you tell them? Oh, right. That's wise. Take your time.